Hey everybody, Jimmy Leslie here, frets editor, acoustic at guitar player, and what I hold in my hands is the brand spanking new Taylor gold label 814 ESB Sunburst. Right, so right off the bat you notice a very different sound from this guitar. You probably notice a very different look. Even right up there at the headstock, notice you got custom script Taylor logo and funky cool unique design. Also engraved down here on the pick guard, and it's not like anything else you've quite seen or heard from Taylor. And the general story is that we had a nice conversation with Andy Powers, the captain over there at Taylor and lead designer. And as he explained, they were going for something very different. So last year was the 51st anniversary. I'm sorry, this is the 51st anniversary. Last year was the big 50th, and they had the limited editions. At the end of the year, they came out with the legacy models, honoring their roots and celebrating many of their designs that have been so popular since Powers introduced the V-Class bracing in 2018. And now they're literally branching out. This has V-Class bracing, but it's an altered V-Class bracing. He borrowed some ideas from the classical world, some fan bracing ideas, and altered the harmonic structure. And what you wind up with is a guitar that just has a fuller, richer sound, especially in the mids, the low mids, and the low end, than really any of the Taylors that have come across my desk since I've been doing this gig for nearly a decade now. And so, wow, I mean, if you've just always appreciated the consistency, the looks, the plug and play ability, the things that come from V-Class that are so wonderful, the being holistically in tune, having such great sustain and other qualities, but felt that that typical Taylor sound that they refer to as maybe high fidelity, some people might say is a little on the bright side. This is the Taylor that might just make a Taylor player out of you. And for me, I've had a lot of these in my hands, and I have a couple of older Taylors that I've had for years and played for years, including one that's nearly this size and done some ABs, and he really hit it. This thing has the qualities of an older sounding guitar, and it's brand new. I can only imagine what it's going to sound like in 10 years. So how did that happen? What we talked about the bracing. The look is meant to sort of match the sound, a more traditional look that maybe a guitar that might have been pre-war, like a 30s or 40s style guitar. And the body itself it's a super Auditorium. So the ground zero for Taylor body shapes is the Grand Auditorium, and this is just a slight bit larger than that. They have larger body styles such as the Grand Symphony and the Grand Orchestra, but this is not. They didn't categorize that way. He said it's essentially just a Grand Auditorium that's a slight bigger, but with different curves. Notice that it's very symmetrical, rounded looking. Look at the gorgeous sunburst finish on its torrefied citrus spruce top. Torrefied meaning like an aging process that they do to the top to try to make it sound like an older guitar. Back and sides are rosewood, Honduran rosewood, super gorgeous, right? And then the other thing you notice pretty quickly is that there's no the typical Taylor expression system 2 is not on this guitar, the electronic system. So there's no holes drilled here at all. And what you have is a LR Bags with the sound, the flywheels in the sound hole, and just an undersaddle piezo. And as Powers explained, that was because he really looked at this as an acoustic guitar first, didn't want to drill any more holes in it, and I've taken it out on a couple of gigs, and you know what? This system works just perfectly fine for this guitar. It does represent it pretty well, electrically and plugged in, I should say. I tried it through a couple of gigs through an LR Bags personal PA, a Synapse, and was very happy with it. And so I guess really all I would, in closing, say is that, you know, I really feel like this is my favorite Taylor that's come across my desk since I've been doing this gig for 10 years. It's got all the things that I really appreciate about Taylor's, and it's just got that sense of a sonic soul and sense of old world kind of craftsmanship. And I might even play different kinds of things on it. Like when I first opened it up, I started playing Night Moves by Bob Seger just because the cowboy chord sounded so good, you know, with a pick. Or I might even like... I might play some blues on this guitar. It's not the kind of thing I typically do with them. Usually if the action is low enough, for my aggressive playing, it'll splat out or maybe be a little brittle in the high end. But this is not the case, and so that gets to the final point about what's new with this guitar is that the neck system is completely new. It's something they've been developing for a long time. It's the first thing that he's been successful, he said, to get this to work. There's a screw right at the end of the heel here and the inside, and you could adjust your truss rod to get your relief just right. You could even use the same tool then to go in and adjust your string height so you can customize your action completely. I haven't had to do it. This is set up perfect. But, you know, normally you could get your neck relief and then you'd have to go with your saddle underneath it and either put a shim in there to raise your action or maybe sandpaper the saddle itself if you wanted to bring that down, that string height down. In this case, it's all right there, and it affects the playability and as well as the feel. It's like this neck, it's not very. It still feels like a modern Taylor neck, but there's something about the resonance of this that feels a little bit just softer and fuller and wonderful under your fingers, and that's, I think, just coming holistically from the way the neck is vibrating with the guitar and the way that the system is attaching the neck itself. So I'm gonna play out a little bit. That's what's new about it. You've got a brand new look, which is really kind of meant to match its old soul sort of sound, and then you've got the different bracing in the V-Class to get that sound, and then you've got this new neck adjustment that basically makes it very simple to customize the setup right to your taste. So read the full review for everything else and some quotes for Andy. I'll play out a little bit. Thanks everybody for paying attention.